Hello, Ms. Buchanan's Algebra 1B. I'm taking a look at your Unit 1 Homework 10, 1 and 2-step equations. And I'm going to do every other one. I'm going to do the odd ones. So let's get started. Taking a look at this one, I have y minus 17 equals negative 37. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add 17 to both sides. Add 17 to both sides. So on my calculator, I would have negative 37 plus 17. And that gives me negative 20. So I'm left with y equals negative 20. These cancel out. That's why I did that. I took that minus 17 that was with the y. I added 17. I do the opposite of that, of what's there, so that I could get y by itself. That's why I did it. And what I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other side of the equation. So that's that plus 17 there. Try 2 on your own. Number 3, go ahead and pause this as needed. I have a 5 times an m. I want m by itself. So what's the opposite of times? Division. What I do to one side of the equation, I do to the other side of the equation. These cancel out. That's why I did it. M equals negative 20 divided by 5, which is negative 4. For number 5, essentially what you're doing here is you have this 4/5 multiplied by z. A couple different ways that you could do this. You could think of it as dividing both sides by 4/5. When you divide by a fraction, it's just like multiplying by its inverse. And you could take 16 times 5 and divide that by 4. You could do it that way. You could put it in your calculator just this way. And if you were to do that and put it in your calculator that way, it would be 16 divided by, and I would put it in parentheses, 4 divided by 5, and then hit equals, and that will give you your 20. And I suggest parentheses because that would get pretty bizarre when you do the, it would go 16 divided by 4 first. You want this to happen. You want this to take place and have 16 divided by this. You don't want 16 divided by 4 and then divide, that would be 4 divided by 5, and that wouldn't give you the right answer. Okay. Another way that you could go about doing this problem, if you didn't have a calculator, or you just wanted to go about doing it, maybe this way seems easier to you. If I multiply both sides of this equation by 5, that would give me 4z equals 16 times 5, 80. Okay? I multiplied by 5 to get rid of this denominator. So if I did it to this side, that means I just now have 4z, because 4z over 5 times 5 just gives me 4z. And so I do it to this side of the equation. 16 times 5 gives me 80. Now, if I divide both sides by 4, 80 divided by 4 is 20. So you get the same answer. So a couple different ways of solving that problem. Number 7, I'm going to first subtract 7 from both sides. And so I'm left with negative 5y. That's why I did it. I want to get the a by itself, and I'm on my way. Negative 38 minus 7 gives me negative 45. Now negative 45 divided by negative 5, because I'm going to get a by itself by dividing by negative 5 because it's multiplied here. And I do the opposite of that, which is division. Negative 45 divided by negative 5 gives me a equals 9. So let me write that a little bit neater. A equals 9. Okay. All right. So this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 15 to both sides. That cancels that out. I'm left with x over 3, x divided by 3, equals negative 7 plus 15. And if you weren't sure, you go negative 7 plus 15, and that equals 8. Okay. Now, I have x divided by 3. I got to do the opposite of division, which opposites are right next to each other on any calculator. These are opposites and these are opposites. So the opposite of divide would be multiply. So I'm going to multiply by 3, both sides. And if I were to multiply by 3, that'd be like 3 over 1 times 3. So these cancel out, so I'm left with x. 8 times 3 is 24. So x equals 24. Let's take a look at number 11. One thing I could do is I could multiply each term by 3, and I'd be left with 4v, and I wouldn't be working with fractions. I could do it that way. But instead, I mean, I could do it in the next step too, but let's get rid of this 25 first. Okay, let's at least do that. So that I'm left with 4 over 3v, and then 33 minus 25, and if you weren't sure, you would do it on your calculator. 33 minus 25, and that gives you 8. Okay. You could divide by the 4/3, or you can multiply by 3. If I would multiply by 3, I'm left with 4v, and then 3 times 8 would be 24. I divide both sides by 4, and then I get v equals 6. 24 divided by 4 is 6. Now, I got rid of the fraction by multiplying by 3, okay? Because if I was to multiply by 3, that'd cancel out, and I'm left with 4v, and I multiply by 3, and I get 24. Okay? That's one way to do those, to get rid of the fractions, so it's a little bit easier. We have another fraction in number 13. But first of all, I'm going to get rid of the plus 53 by doing the opposite, which is minus 53. I did it to this side, so I have to do it to this side. I'm left with negative 2/3 w. I bring this down, okay? I have nothing here because that canceled out. That's why I did it. I wanted to get, I'm working on getting this w by itself. 59 minus 53 is going to be 6. Now, I can multiply both sides by 3, and I get negative 2w, and 3 times 6 is going to be 18. And then I could just divide both sides by negative 2 to get w by itself, and I get negative 9. Number 15. Subtract that 41. These cancel out. I'm left with negative 3/8 r equals a negative, and we have 63, looks like, because that's because I'm just, you know, I'm at negative 2 or 22 already, and I subtract 41 more. So essentially you're adding this and just having a negative in front of it. Or if you do it on a calculator, if that bothers you too much, negative 22 minus 41, and you get negative 63. Okay? I'm going to multiply by 8. So I'm going to have negative 3r equals, multiply by 8, so negative 63 times 8 gives me negative 504. Divide both sides by negative 3. R equals, divide by negative 3, 168. 168. Okay, so R equals 168. Lastly, I have 9 plus 4 divided by negative 2. So you have 9 plus 4 left if I were to multiply by negative 2. Because negative 2 is on the bottom. This is all divided by negative 2. So it's that same trick that I've been doing to get rid of the fraction over here. I just multiply by the denominator. So multiply, and that cancels that out. And I multiply by the denominator, which is negative 2. So I'm going to get 18 here. Because negative 9 times negative 2 is 18. All right. Now I'm going to have 18 minus that 4, because I'm going to get rid of that 4 by doing that. 18 minus 4 gives me 14. My final answer is 14. I really hope this was helpful, and if you need any more help with any of the other problems, please let me know.